All right, guys, we're back for another episode here with my old man. Just going through some old memories and talking about some of our favorite stories. We've got 2 episodes up at this point, so if you haven't seen them, please go check them out. Thanks for watching us. So back in the first episode, I believe it was, we talked a lot about history, and Dad, you were growing up as a kid, you really loved history, in school, and you love Elvis and some of those legends. Well, I want to talk about some of the legends that you came to love, like if I consider you a legend, or some of the guys that I looked up as a kid. Love to hear about some of the ones that you looked up to, or some of the guys that you couldn't wait to face when you got to the big leagues. And then just some other historical facts that happened, throughout your career that really come to mind when I ask you that.
So Kacy, I think as soon as you asked me the question, these segments have been really cool because you're making me really think and go back. Some of the stuff I can remember to a T, and some, vaguely. But when you talk about history, I think about what a honor and a privilege for me to play. I got to play in 2 cathedrals. They're not stadiums.
Yeah,
I mean,
Old Yankee and Fenway.
Yeah, Fenway Park and Old Yankee Stadium. New Yankee Stadium, I tease people, it's like you're going to a mall and a baseball field's there, But at Old Yankee Stadium, we had ghosts running around that place. We had so many come from behind winds and crazy stuff happening. But I played long enough to where I think, Kobe and Corey, my 2 older boys, as your 2 older brothers, they made a comment like when I struck out 20 for the second time in '96, Kobe looked at Corey and said, Corey, I think Dad's really good at this.
Because they were probably 10 or 11 years old at that point.
Whatever.
Starting to understand what you're doing.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what I think. One of the jumping around. One of the other best quotes you had, or somebody's, that through all Dad's career, good starts, bad starts, when I came home, I was Dad. I didn't bring that start home with me.
For sure.
And
I think that's something that carried over into my career.
It was
when I talked to Bailey
Yeah.
about that, whether you have a good game or not, just being able to
Absolutely.
separate the two. And I think that's something that you did very well.
Yeah, and then I played long enough to where, you and Cody mentioned it to me that, Pops, you stood right where, and I have a photo of it, I think at the lake house, of Lou Gehrig giving his farewell speech. I stood right there on that same ground where Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and
right. Well, I mean, I'll never forget when we were younger. We got to hit BP out there, and I know I would try my hardest to just hit it right down the line so I could get one out of the stadium. But how many left-handers stood in that box?
Well, and I'm sure we can find the footage, the video. I thought you were going to say when I struck out when I won my 300th game in 4,000.
Yeah.
You and Cody, that's you little guys running out to get dirt off the mound.
Yeah, we'll try to pull up a picture for that for sure. I know we have that running around.
So when you, and I played long enough, like I said, you were like, when I knew it was great, when I started hearing your comments or Cody's comments saying, Dad, Fenway Park, right there where Yaz ran around and Ted ran around, Babe Ruth, so those things are that's the kind of history I talk about. For me, I wanted to get to the major leagues to face Reggie Jackson. Reggie, obviously everybody's watched him, including me, in the '70s when he hit the 3 home runs in the World Series game. We're like,
Mr.
wow.
October.
Yeah, I got his nickname, Mr. October, right?
And he was one of the guys you really idolized, and you were if you're facing Reggie Jackson, you've made it. That'd be like somebody getting to face you.
You're in the big leagues.
Like,
you're in the big leagues.
That's really cool.
When I faced Reggie, I think he was a California Angel at Fenway Park, and they announced his name coming to hit. I was behind the mound, like going, I didn't even want to make eye contact with him when I turned around. I was like, that half-shell helmet he wears and the glasses.
Yeah.
He's got a hanky in his back pocket to clean his glasses,
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, even though I was green as the grass, and it's like, I'm going to, Reggie always says it too, now that Reggie and I are really good friends. Reggie, I think, called me Heat at one time. He called me Heat instead of Rocket. And he said, hey, you're out there throwing 94 to all my teammates. I step in the box, and it's 98, 98, 98. He goes, what's up? I go, you're Reggie Jackson.
Yeah,
That's why you're gonna get people's best. So there's no days off for Reggie either. So, but I remember, I think I punched him when I faced him at Fenway first time. I punched him out 3 times. And the first time,
that's crazy.
The first time he launched his 4th at bat, I believe he launched one over the bullpen out there at Fenway, and I think I was more happy with him watching him
you run around. You're
yeah,
like, this is incredible. I'm seeing one of your idols hit a home run.
He hit a milestone homer or something. I don't know what exactly it was, but in Anaheim, he smacked one off me to dead center. I think about knocked the cameraman off the camera booth out there in center field. But those, I think about that. I think when you talk history, what fun it was for me. We were close to the Bush family here in Houston, and 41 really close to. And when he was vice president, Reagan was president, and I struck out 20. They asked us when we came to Baltimore to come to Washington, and I gave Ronald Reagan, who I didn't know announced baseball games back in the day on ticker tape. The ticker tape would come across, so you had to see what was happening in the game and read from that. But we gave him one of the 20 game ball that was used in the 20 strikeout game, and I didn't realize. I knew President Bush 41 was a huge baseball guy, and that's why we have the horseshoe pit here here at the house.
Yeah, because he
loved to throw horseshoes,
yeah.
And so anyway, meeting.
Well, you have some cool stories with him out in.
Had some great stories. I was with him in
Kennebunkport, right?
Well, I was in the Oval Office when right after he signed the papers for Desert Storm, and he knew he was sending young men that were going to get hurt and maybe not return, and he was tearing up. I mean, it was super emotional. I was in Kennebunkport with him when the coup in Russia broke out. We just played 9 holes at Kennebunkport up there on the golf course there, and some great moments. He came here a number of times when he knew he loved to come to the house when he knew we had baseball guys here to talk baseball. I always tease him. I got a famous photo here that you guys might want to shoot. It's a famous photo. Babe Ruth is standing at Yale University, and President Bush is a left-handed
that's right.
first baseman.
Yeah, he
and
played at Yale.
Babe Ruth's handing him an award.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I remember when I think I was watching you one summer. I was up in the Northeast, and I was within 30 minutes of Yale in the baseball field. So I called his secretary and called his office here in Houston, and he got on, and I said, his grandkids called him Gampy. I said, Gampy, I'm rolling onto campus at Yale University right now, and I hear there's a pretty good left-handed first baseman that played here.
Yeah.
He started laughing. He goes, yeah, in his military terms. He said, yep, I could never breach that left field wall, like he could never hit a home run.
Right.
Over that wall.
Using the word breach.
Yeah,
That's funny.
He could never breach it. So those are memories I'll take with me, and I don't think I've ever put it on tape like we're doing now, that you're doing these little segments. So that's pretty cool. Big JFK fan. We got a few pieces of nice memorabilia from JFK. Backstory on that: your mother was not even a year old, I think, and she was in Nana's arms, and they were 2 blocks up before the assassination.
That's right.
So they were there in Dallas, and at one point during an auction, a big auction, I was trying to buy. I was in the bidding, got down to the last 2 bidders. It got a little out of hand. I was trying to buy JFK's irons, his golf irons. They sold his woods separately. I didn't want those. I wanted a set of irons. And my guy that's a spotter that was actually at the auction, basically told me, he said, you're probably not going to get it. You're driving the price up, but you're probably not going to get it, so you might want to get out. And I go, what do you mean I'm not going to get him? He goes, well, you're bidding against Schwarzenegger. He was part of the family then, so I said, yeah, I'm probably not going to get it.
That's hilarious.
So I bailed on that. And
I wonder what those went for.
So the history there, and then going to the White House so many times. When we went to Baltimore and had days off, I tried to get 4 or 5 of my teammates to go. It was fun going to the Mint and watching print money. I remember my traveling secretary said, we watch him print money every time you go to the mound.
Yeah.
And there's another long-standing story that's pretty hilarious, and you know it. You'll remember it once I get into it. But through my 24-year career,
is this about the Beast?
It's about the Beast.
Okay.
This is about the presidential limousine,
okay,
and the brand new one, and it's a Beast. And it was when Clinton was in the White House. President Clinton was our president at the time. And I didn't want to go anywhere near him or Hillary and all that stuff, because President Bush would always write me a nasty little letter calling me a traitor or whatever. But he's the president, so what are you going to do?
Yeah,
right?
you're still rooting
We're
for
going.
him.
Yeah, I want the president. they get in and they get sworn in, you want your president to do great, right? So some of them don't, and some of them don't like to work once they get in. So that's a whole nother segment. So, so over 24 years, we go to dinner, as you know, and we'll go out to dinner, or we'll go to Universal, or we'll go to anywhere, some parties, whatever, and it never fails that these guys come up to me normally, and you guys are little and big, and you're going to remember this when I bring your attention to it. Is when I meet these people, for sure, one of them always say, hey, Rocket, just to let you know, I played against you in high school. And I go, oh, you did? Yeah. And so I want to hear a little more to make sure the guy's legit. And he might say the high school name. Okay, he's legit. And he goes, yeah, I was 2 for 3 off you with a homer. I go, okay, dude, way to go, man. That's awesome. And then we're at college and we go somewhere else. And next thing you know, and run into a college guy, he said, hey, dude, I played in, I played at Texas A&M, and my buddy over here played at Florida, and you played us in college. And yeah, I said, cool, man. Yeah, I remember going down there and playing. That was a fun series. Yeah. He goes, yeah, I was 3 for 3 off you with 2 homers. I go, oh man, nice. Congratulations. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I remember. Yeah. And this goes on and on and on.
Everybody's just wearing you out.
In Boston, our traveling secretary, we've been eating together and the other teammates in pro ball, and I'm with pro ball, let alone with you guys. And as this goes on and on, you're like, you and Kobe would hear it, your older brother would hear it, and he looked at me and he was like, Dad, God dang, you must suck in high school. How'd you ever get a scholarship to play in college? Everybody you run into, he's got 4 for 4 with damage off you.
Everyone.
And I'm like, damn, yeah, I guess, I don't know how I got drafted. So now it starts happening in pro ball, and my traveling secretary hears it. And some of my teammates here, we run into guys, they go, yeah, we played against you in the minors, yeah. And oh, cool, yeah. He goes, yeah, I hit 2 homers off you. And I was like, yeah, all right, way to go. And I'm
You're like, how did I get anywhere?
My teammates like, dude, you suck. How'd you make it to the big leagues? You must suck. So now we get to the beast. We got an off day in Baltimore. We golfed, and now we're going to the White House. And we're going to go look at the Mint, and we're going to go around. There's about 6 of us, including our traveling secretary. Augie Dog's with me. And it's Clinton and them, and they're walking through, and I say pleasantries to them really quick and say hello. And Hillary looked at him and said, Bill, we're late. We're running 3 minutes behind schedule, whatever. So they got on the 2 helicopters. They walked through this tunnel, got on the helicopters, and they flew off. Well, we're getting ready to leave, and 2 of my Secret Service guys that I've known there for a long time from the Boston area go, hey, Rock, you got to come see the Beast, the new presidential limousine. It's the Beast. You need to see it. I go, you guys want to see it? Bulletproof everything, wheels, everything. So we go around the corner, there it sits. And I notice a guy sitting in front, the driver's in front. And as we're walking up to it, my Secret Service guys go, they take the back door and go, and I was kind of watching their thumbs, but they did a little pin or something in there and boom, opened it. And then they shut it and they go, open it. And I go, I saw it, and I can't open it. And he goes, opens it, shuts it. He goes, open it. I can't do it.
Couldn't figure it out.
So the third time he opens up, he goes, y'all get in. So we all get in. About 4 of us got in this back seat. And I look up and I can see something going on underneath the carpet, probably an automatic weapon. And we're talking and we're kind of, man, this thing's cool. And look at these windows. We're touching the windows. And all of a sudden the guy driving the Beast that's in charge of the Beast leans back and goes, hey, Mr. Clemens. I go, you can call me Rocket. He goes, Rocket. He goes, I just got to tell you, because I can't believe you're in the vehicle with me, but I got to tell you, he goes, I played against you in high school. And Augie, my teammate, he tapped me. He goes, here we go. 2 for 3, 3 for 3 with 3 homers. Here it comes.
Damage.
And the guy I go, where'd you play? And he says, Westchester High School. Westchester's closed down like Spring Branch, so we knew it. So I know he's legit, which I didn't think, he's driving the Beast. He's going to be legit with me. And I go, here we go. And he goes, I just got to tell you, you struck me out 3 times. I go, here, let me shake your damn hand.
You shake his hand.
You're the first guy I've ever gotten out. I don't know what's going on.
That's hilarious.
That's my B story. That's all those things.
That's
and
so
they
funny.
started dying, laughing. All my teammates were dying because they're like, like your brother said, Dad, Jesus, you must suck.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's
everybody's
hilarious.
just killed me, So
that's just so funny that it happened in the Beast.
It happened in the
that
Beast
situation.
with that driver, and I played against him in high school.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
Westchester's right here, so.
Yep, that was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, another good story wrapped up. Anything else you want to say about history? Or obviously, you paved your own way and made history for our family. So.
Yeah. So, well, little trivia. Even though I didn't vote for him, President Obama and I have the same birthday, August 4th. But I tell people, once you get sworn in, not to get on politics, but I still believe once you become president, I don't think that, being an American, you root for your guy to do well.
100%.
You want the guy to do well. You want him to do well for our country. I still, like I said, Trump, I can handle President Trump's late night tweets because he holds other people's ass accountable.
For sure.
And we're always flipping the bill here in America, and I love it when he talks about America first.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure that you won't see a spy balloon flying over Alaska to South Carolina with President Trump in office. And we did, as you know, we hosted him at our lake house not too long ago.
He's a golfer that we eventually need to go play with. That would be
we'll
fun.
get another round with him, and I played in a couple things. He actually let me use his golf course in New York for our foundation to help underprivileged kids. And but to meet Reagan, Bush, play in the Bob Hope and see, Carter and Clinton and those guys out there, and just have the opportunity to say hi to some of our presidents are really cool. Vice presidents, and it's been really cool just to know the history behind what these guys have done in their lifetime. And
well, to go
cool
on
stuff.
with some other historical things that might be coming in the next few episodes. We've recently gone into one of the back closets at my parents' house and dug up some really, really cool memorabilia
24 years.
He's obviously brought in some really cool things that you're seeing behind us. And just as a teaser, what of those, pieces of memorabilia do you think are your most prized possession that we may or may not be showing here in the next few episodes?
Well, when you're talking, if we're going to do some more episodes, which it sounds like we're going to, we can't leave out Elvis.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been to Memphis and Graceland probably close to 8 times in high school, a couple times as a chaperone, and I am an Elvis Presley fan. Of course, Big Dog Daddy Toby Keith is one of the best, but Elvis is right there, and but yeah, I got a few pieces. I think if I can round them up for everyone to see. Probably the biggest one I have a Shoeless Joe Jackson bat, and the reason I have that is when your grandma was passing away, she was a huge Field of Dreams fan, and actually when she was in her last couple of breaths, she mentioned something about Shoeless Joe, and so we got that. When I won my 4th Cy Young, a great lawyer friend of ours, this great friends with mine and your family, got me a Cy Young ball. I have it in a dark, non-sun window place because it's barely his signature. You can still just barely see it right now, and there'll never be another one like that. My Shoeless Joe, my Smokey Joe Wood, because Bill Fisher, my pitching coach, kind of called me Smokey.
Yeah, the check.
I have a canceled check, Smokey Joe.
And then Elvis,
I've got a lot of cool stuff from Elvis, and there was one that I got to try on one of his taking care of business rings when he was, I think, when he was not too many more days that passed before he passed away, and so I got to do that, and so I have a little memento from the King. So that's just a little bit of stuff. You guys, since you guys started emptying out that back room, what was by your bedroom before you moved out and got married and got your house, there's some stuff that I totally forgot about that's back there.
There's some really cool stuff, and hopefully we'll get to show you guys. I know what shocked me was the amount of old, your rookie cards, some of your really cool old Boston cards that are super rare that are back there for all you guys who collect baseball cards. So like I said, hopefully we'll get into memorabilia and maybe show you some cool artifacts and some stuff that Dad's picked up over the years. But another cool episode. Hope you guys like the stories about Reggie and the Beast, and we've got some more coming. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with your buddies, share it with your dads and moms who grew up watching Pops. We appreciate all the feedback. Stay tuned for the next episode.